makeup friends, and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb. Today we're going to be talking about the newest in the travel series from BH Cosmetics. This is Lost in Los Angeles. So if you are interested in anything that I have said so far, just keep watching. Okay, so as I said, this is the most recent in their travel series. There are quite a few in this line. There's Hangin' in Hawaii, Chillin' in Chicago or something like that. I can't remember. I have a total of 3 of them. So I have Smitten in Switzerland over here. I'll quickly show you what it looks like on the inside. And then obviously I picked up Lost in Los Angeles. And when I bought this one, they had a promotion where if you bought this palette, you could get another one of their travel series ones for 50% off. So I picked up Trendy in Tokyo. I thought that the tones in this one here would work well with the tones in the Los Angeles palette. The Los Angeles one is, as you can see, very light, very pastel, very springish. It's a really kind of odd time of year to be releasing this, to be honest, but here we are, they did. And I wanted some of the deeper tones that are in the Tokyo palette to be able to complement this one, because in looking at it, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it. Obviously I have pulled something off, and I am going to walk you through what I did to achieve this look, because I did start off with just this palette, and then I did go in with a couple of shades from Tokyo just to enhance things a little bit more for my own personal liking. Now, if you've been around on my channel for a few months at any rate, you will know that I discovered BH in like September, October of 2020. I'd obviously heard of them before, but I'd never really dived into the world of BH Cosmetics. I just, for whatever reason, assumed that because they had a low price point, they also had a low quality level, but I was wrong. I was very wrong, at least in regards to their eyeshadows. I have not tried much. My children are home. Means it's going to get very loud very quickly. I'm going to close my door. I'll be right back. All right, so as I was saying, I haven't tried much from BH Cosmetics with the exception of their eyeshadows, but I fell hard down the BH rabbit hole back in the fall of 2020 with their Sweet Shop palettes, their Blueberry Muffin, Avocado Toast, Smitten in Switzerland. I fell in love with BH Cosmetics, and so I wanted to pick up Lost in Los Angeles even though I wasn't quite sold on the color story, because I wanted to test out the quality of these shadows and to see how they do in formulating matte pastel shades, because a lot of brands seem to have difficulty with that. So what I can say is that the quality is here with these shadows. It ranks up there with the other palettes that I have tried from them. I had no issues in building up, in particular, sort of this mint kind of color throughout the transition. No issues there. The shimmer shadows are beautiful. I did use setting spray today just to kick it up another notch, but these are not super crumbly shadows in any way. The mattes are not super powdery. They don't just blend off into nothing. So the quality is there, although the color story admittedly is not my favorite. So I don't want to belabor the point today. I really don't have a ton to say about this palette. I can give you a little bit of information in that it is $17 US. You can purchase it through the BH Cosmetics website or through Beauty Bay. I believe it might also be available at Ulta, but I don't tend to check out the Ulta website all that much because they no longer ship to Canada. Apparently we're supposed to be getting brick and mortar stores here in Canada sometime this year, but they've been saying that for about 2 or 3 years at this point, and frankly our experience with Target has dimmed my excitement for Ulta, because Target did not last even 1 year here in Canada before they all went bankrupt. So fingers are crossed the same fate doesn't happen for Ulta, but I'm just not going to get my hopes and dreams and expectations up too high about it. Now, looking at the back of the palette, it does say that it is Leaping Bunny certified, it's vegan, and it says it's extra clean. I don't quite know what that means, but I thought I'd throw that out there because they felt obviously that it was important enough to put on their packaging. So there you have it. Now I did do some swatches, and like I said, I did film this eye look, so let's just get straight into that. All right, so starting from left to right, I'm just going to read off the shade names for you. So we're starting off with Malibu, followed by Runyon Canyon. Then we have LAX, 90210. We have the 405. That purple shimmer is called Melrose. After that is WeHo, or Weho, I'm guessing West Hollywood, but I don't know how to say it. That goldish kind of color is called Rodeo Drive. Then we have Rush Hour, followed by Abbott Kinney, which I'm missing the reference on that. I'd have to Google that. I don't know what that means. And then we have Starstruck. That beautiful shimmery coral shade is Sunset Boulevard. The matte white is called The Abbey, followed by Dreamer, The Hills, and then lastly is City of Angels. All right, so with swatches out of the way, let's dive into the eye look. So the eye look was looking a little flat to me. Because there really aren't any deep shades in this palette, I wanted to bring in a couple of tones from the Trendy and Hollywood ones so that I could deepen things up, like the outer corner and my crease and the lower lash line. So here is me applying two of the shades from Trendy in Tokyo. The names of them are Electric and Kyoto. So this darker blue shimmer over here, and then this matte deep purple. All right, so now we've seen the swatches, we've seen some of these shadows in action. Let me give you my thoughts on the palette. And I'm not going to bury the lead. It's not my favorite. It's probably my least favorite of the BH palettes that I own. That's not to say it's a bad palette. For me, it's more about the color story. So if these are colors and shades that really draw your attention, I don't think you're going to be disappointed with how the palette performs. But for me, I just have a hard time curating an eye look just using this palette. that's not necessarily a deal breaker. I have countless palettes to draw from, and they are all housed, like there's a bookcase right beside me. They're all there. So it's really not that inconvenient for me to just turn around and grab another palette to mix with this. It's really not a big deal. But if we're just looking at, you just want to buy one palette, to me, there are some missed opportunities in here, and I really don't think that my own personal sense of how I like my eyeshadows to look, I don't feel that I can achieve it using this palette. Excuse me. I do think that the matte white was a missed opportunity. I think they could have replaced that with a deeper tone that could have worked with some more of these shades. Even, I hesitate to say it, even a black shadow would have been a better option in my opinion than the white, because you could have used that to deepen up any of the other tones. In terms of the tones for the shimmers, I'm really not upset about them. I do think that this like goldish color, while very pretty, just doesn't really fit in with the rest of what's going on here. And you already have a more like yellow kind of tone over here. So this like olivey, dirty bronze shade just doesn't really mix with the rest of it. So I don't really understand it. But regardless, overall, it performs nicely. The shadows are not bad. It's just a color story that I'm not wildly in love with. There are certain shadows in here that I think are definite standouts. For example, Sunset Boulevard over here, and then the one below it, City of Angels. Also this guy over here called Rush Hour. Those are all beautiful. And frankly, Rodeo Drive is beautiful. It just doesn't go with the rest of what's in this palette. So I kind of have mixed feelings on this, because on the one hand, the shadows are really nice, but on the other hand, I'm not super in love with the color story. And I kind of knew that going into it, but I did want to test out how they do the pastels, and I am happy to report that they apply nicely. They blend out beautifully, they're not super patchy, and like I said, they don't just dust off into nothing. So I guess all I can say is if you like the color story, you're probably going to like the palette. For me though, I much prefer Avocado Toast, Blueberry Muffin, and certainly Smitten in Switzerland. That's just personal preference, so I leave it to you. After all, they are your dollars to spend. So if you are interested in this palette, I will put an affiliate link down below. I don't personally have a discount code with BH, but I know that Dupe That works, and Trend Mood. I know they have other creator codes as well, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any. So you can always Google, but those two definitely work, and they will save you, I believe it's 10% off of your purchase. So if you're interested, there you have it. At any rate, I just wanted to share my thoughts with you on this palette, such as they are. I can't love everything, and as much as I have been loving everything I have tried from BH, it was bound to happen that something was going to come along that didn't knock my socks off, and it just happens to be Lost in Los Angeles. And that's okay. All right, on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.